Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Jahmal Kennedy.
And I'm Rachael Wilkerson. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics. Is there a better place to start than with men's basketball? And is there a better person to root for on campus than men's basketball coach Phil Cunningham? In his fourth season as the coach of the Trojans, previously recording records of 11-20, 10-19, and 9-22, he can finally say the title Sun Belt Conference champion in front of his name. Jahmal Kennedy has the highlights. Hold on.
And for the first time in 14 years, the Troy Trojans are going to the NCAA tournament.
What a time to be a Troy Trojan. The men's basketball team punched their ticket into the field of 64 Sunday afternoon after taking down the fourth-seeded Texas State Bobcats 59-53.
So just proud of our guys to fight through a very tough situation. To give Texas State credit, they're the best defensive team in the league. They're a tough, hard-nosed team, and you combine that with our fourth game and in less than 4 days, real time there.
He broke the Sun Belt Conference Championships tournament record for total threes in the tournament, but on Sunday afternoon, Wesley Person saw his career take another major step forward, and all it took was a little belief.
We had a rough start, to my career as far as wins, and just kept believing. And we knew coming in, this summer that we had a special team this year, and we could do big things. And we just kept believing that. We worked hard over the summer and preseason, and we just finally started clicking, late in the season.
The Trojans had averaged 80 points all tournament long, with the three ball being their biggest help. But they shot 1 of 17 on Sunday, something that should have given them trouble.
If you told me we were going to go 1 for 17 and we'd win, I'd say no way. But the thing this team has done is we've defended down the stretch, and we've always been a team that can score. We didn't show today. People haven't seen us, but we're one of the better offensive teams in the league.
Jahmal Kennedy, Trojan Sports Now.
Wesley Person set the new Sun Belt Conference tournament three-pointers made record with 15. The junior also scored 87 points total in the tournament, which was good enough to earn him the Most Outstanding Player award.
Well, Rachel, I think women's basketball would have also been an appropriate place to start, as we've got some really big teams and they need some really big rings. The road to the Sun Belt Conference champions will run through Troy, Alabama, as both the men's and women's teams brought home the title. Let's go back-to-back with Chanda Rigby and her team.
The Troy Trojans are headed to the NCAA tournament one more time. They are Sun Belt women's basketball champions.
And still, the women's basketball team repeated as champions of the Sun Belt Conference basketball world with a 78-64 win over Louisiana Lafayette. But it was never comfortable for the Trojans.
It went their way for a long time. Somehow we did get the lead and managed to keep the lead, I believe. But it's just one of those games that felt like you weren't in the lead. I think the reason I kept feeling that way is because I know how good this Lafayette team is in the fourth quarter. I've seen them overtake and come back many, many, many times, and on us as well.
One Trojan senior provided the spark the Trojans needed in the championship game, a player that gives Coach Rigby a breather when she's out on the court.
I've told my players before, when Carissa Banks is on the floor, I never really think I can lose. And that's not just because she's a very good player, but she's won championships everywhere she's been.
I'm just trying to help my team the best way I can. I know they had tried to get Kayla in foul trouble, which they did, so I just had to play me and do me to help my team out the best way I can.
She just knows how to win, and she knows when we need that burst.
Two-time Sun Belt Conference champion has a nice ring to it. But when you ask head coach Chanda Rigby about it, she can only describe the feeling in one word.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
After averaging 15 points and 16 rebounds in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, Caitlin Ramirez was named the Most Outstanding Player.
While it was all smiles in NOLA, over in Statesboro, the softball team found themselves in a fight with Georgia Southern and ultimately dropped their first Sun Belt Conference series of the season. The Eagles soared past Troy 8-3 in the final game to take the series overall 2-1. Georgia Southern had a 6-run sixth inning that propelled them into the lead, and Troy was unable to answer, falling in action. Carly Kaler doubled home a run to give Troy a 3-2 lead momentarily. Claire Graves got the start for the Trojans, and her record fell to 9-8 on the season. The Trojans return home to host Southern Miss on Wednesday. It's a doubleheader with the first game starting at 4 and the second game following at 6.
Yeah, and the softball team opened up their brief 5-game homestand on Wednesday with a big 2-0 victory against Southern Miss. Originally, Troy and Southern Miss were scheduled to play 2 games on Wednesday afternoon, but canceled the second game due to expected weather. Well, the first game was a classic and one that head coach Beth Mullins thought all fans should want to see.
It was a really good game. I think if you're a fan, I mean, on both sides, you enjoyed it. I mean, it really was a pitching duel. I mean, there was really good pitching, good defense, and I thought both sides had really good at-bats, so just nobody could quite push one around.
The Trojans went scoreless for 6 2/3 innings before walking off with a 2-run homer. And most of that credit goes to Southern Miss pitcher Kim Croson.
Southern Miss has got a great pitching staff. I mean, if you see it, they have, a 2-something ERA, so we knew it was going to be a dogfight, and we knew they had it. And props to them for being able to throw that, but I think our girls stuck with it. I mean, I don't think they pouted or got down about it and just, fought their butts off.
After the big 2-0 win, Coach Mullins says the momentum from this game is huge going forward.
I mean, I think it was big. I mean, again, we've got a younger team that, has just been trying to find different ways of winning, and I think for it finally to work out was key. But, it's a long season. I think today might have just put us at the halfway mark. So we've got a whole nother back half of the season to play, and we're hoping, not even hoping, I think that game will kind of kickstart us to start playing a little better softball and see where we can go from here.
Up until the 7th inning, the Trojans were held in check.
I thought our hitters had good at-bats the whole day. We just couldn't quite, we ran ourselves out of a couple innings, and I'll take full credit for that. But
that's right, Coach, but then Stephanie Snyder stepped into the box with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th with Becca Hartley on first. And delivered.
Stephanie just, made it count in the end, and that's kind of what we needed. We've had a lot of close games, just haven't been able to pull out many of them, and I think that was a big win for us.
Honestly, just the pitch before, Becca Hartley came up to me and there was a timeout, and she said, you get to do this, and it just kind of, we're moving pitch to pitch, and that's our big thing this year, and I was just ready for it, and I timed it up good, and I hit it, so.
Claire Graves was in the circle once again and got the victory as she pitched a complete game, allowing 6 hits against the 27 batters she faced.
The Trojan baseball team solidified the home front with the other Trojan teams away on the road as they cruised to the series victory over Hofstra Sunday at Riddle Pace. And no need to rub your eyes, you're seeing that correctly. The Trojans scored 16 runs behind Corey Childress to help get him his first win of the season. Sophomore Chase Smart, with some smart hitting, went a clean 3 for 4 on the afternoon, while seniors powered the Trojans. TJ Binder and Justin Friend combined for 7 RBIs. Drew Frederick, Matt Sanders, and Mason Rogers each added 2 hits apiece to the hit parade. Every hitter in the lineup scored at least once, and sliding back to starter Corey Childress, at one point he retired 14 batters in a row, just as easy like Sunday morning. And another cool stat, the Trojans are now 7-1 when scoring at least 10 runs under Mark Smart. All 9 Trojan hitters scored in the same game for the first time since February 16, 2013, in a game that was played against Florida A&M.
Matt Terry and his golf team were out on the greens taking some swings and competition over spring break, and they fared well. They didn't win their tournaments, but they turned in some pretty strong performances at both the Tiger Invitational hosted by Auburn and the Seminole Intercollegiate hosted by Florida State. The men finished in 2nd at the Auburn Invitational and 5th at the Seminole Intercollegiate. Here's head coach Matt Terry recapping both events.
Our comeback at Auburn was huge for us, being 11 down, coming back, tying the tournament up. Didn't finish it off, but just showing that we can put the pedal to the metal when we need to on a hard golf course is big for us, especially after a poor performance in our first event of the spring. And then going into the Seminole, we kind of kept that kind of momentum going. Didn't play great in the first round, but then played really well in the second round, had a low round of the day, 12 under par, and then followed that up with just 1 under the final round, which you say just 1 under. It was our 5th straight round under par, and that's something.
Clayton Benoit led the way for the men, shooting a 6 under 66 on the final day. Benoit finished in a tie for 5th overall, while teammate Jared Betcher finished in a tie for 14th, and Cam Norman finished in a tie for 27th.
It was tea time for the women's golf team on the greens on the back end of spring break as they opened their spring season at the Gator Invitational. They finished in 10th place and shot a team round best 296 on Sunday. Gabby Oubre finishes individually in a tie for 18th, shooting a 2 over 70 and tallying a team high 3 birdies in the final round. As a team, the Trojans finished ahead of number 44 Wisconsin, number 86 Kansas, and number 96 Mercer. The host team Florida Gators took home the overall team title in the event. And still to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of the Trojan men and women's basketball team NCAA tournament matchups.
But first, I sit down with softball's Katie Webb. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.